Hello, I'm Michelle Levy from the Connecticut Office of Early Childhood. Much of my role at the OEC over the past several years has been related to standards, curriculum, and assessment. My work has ranged from development work to providing guidance to professional development. I'm also a part of the Connecticut Pyramid Partnership, our statewide leadership team focused on implementing the pyramid model across our state. I'm going to tell you a little about the Connecticut Early Learning and Development Standards. Hopefully you're familiar with this document, but if not, that's okay. You're learning about a new resource that can support you in your pyramid work and in other aspects of your work with children and families. The Connecticut Early Learning and Development Standards are sometimes referred to as the Connecticut ELDS, or the CT ELDS, or even just the ELDS. They include the skills, behaviors, and dispositions that we support young children to acquire. Put simply, the Connecticut ELDS include what we want young children to know and be able to do. These were released in 2013 after a great deal of cross-sector work. They cover young children from birth through age 5. They are research-based and they align to kindergarten standards. I first want to say that all of the pyramid model practices that you're learning about will help to support children's learning and development across all domains. When you implement pyramid model practices, you set the stage for children to be able to learn and build skills. Young children who've been supported to build their social and emotional competence are better able to focus on learning new things and building skills across areas. It works the other way around too. Children who are engaged and learning about things they're interested in are likely to interact with peers more and are less likely to engage in behaviors that might disrupt those activities that they're so interested in. So using both the pyramid model practices and the CT ELDS can be a great combination. In addition to those big connections, I also wanted to focus on a more specific connection. The Connecticut ELDS include 8 areas of learning and development, one of which is social and emotional development. As you have heard, the pyramid model is focused on building children's social and emotional competence. So what you have in the Connecticut ELDS are the skills that we want to support in order to build that social emotional competence. The pyramid model work provides us with a framework and strategies to build the skills that are included in the Connecticut ELDS. The Connecticut ELDS include these 5 areas, which we call strands, under social and emotional development. We want young children to develop trusting, healthy attachments and relationships with primary caregivers. We want them to develop self-regulation, to develop, express, recognize, and respond to emotions, to develop self-awareness, self-concept, and competence, and to develop social relationships. Each area or strand from the prior slide is broken down even further into learning progressions within the CT ELDS document. For example, the area of social relationships includes relationships with adults, relationships with peers, and conflict resolution. There are a total of 7 age bands, beginning on the left-hand side with birth to 6 months of age and progressing to the right at 4 to 5 years of age. Within each box, within each column, you will see indicators. Each one builds upon the prior stage, providing a progression of development from left to right. This can be a great tool for considering what skills a child may be working on and planning how you can support them to move to the next stage of development. When using the Connecticut ELDS, it is important to remember that not all children have skills that match up directly to their chronological age. Children's development is uneven by nature, so it's important to think about a child's development in addition to their chronological age. This can be especially true in the area of social and emotional skills. There's often an expectation that children will just naturally develop social and emotional skills when they see other people behaving around them and modeling some skills. But many children need more specific teaching and support. One other important consideration when using the Connecticut ELDS is the significant influence that culture and family has on social and emotional development. When the Connecticut ELDS were developed, there was a great deal of effort to consider this, but it is equally important to consider individual children and families and the cultural context when you work with and use these standards. As the cover of the document states, Connecticut's early learning and development standards were developed to help families, communities, and schools work together to support children's early learning and growth. I encourage you to look through this document. You may want to explore all of the skills you are already supporting. You might find some skills that you haven't focused on as much. Finally, I hope you'll consider how the pyramid model practices you're learning about will help you partner with families to support the skills in the Connecticut ELDS. This document is one of 5 supplements to the Connecticut Early Learning and Development Standards. The series is called Supporting All Children Using the Connecticut Early Learning and Development Standards. This particular document is focused on building meaningful curriculum, and it talks about the components that are important to consider when working to ensure your curriculum process is intentionally planned, is responsive to the individual children and families you serve, and that it involves reflection and ongoing improvement. This document includes many components that are also an important part of pyramid model work. I'm sure you are already doing some of this work. The Using the Building Meaningful Curriculum document and the pyramid model aren't about doing everything different. All of these resources are meant to build on the great things you're already doing and to provide you with a way to think about and continue to improve what you are doing. When you realize something that you're doing isn't working so well for the children and families that you're working with, these resources can help you to shift your practice or incorporate new ideas. Pyramid Model Tier 1 is focused on nurturing and responsive relationships. I'm sure that for you, building relationships with children and families is an important part of your work. You will see the importance of nurturing and responsive relationships in this document as well. As I just mentioned, this document includes components of curriculum. Each of those little rectangles on the cover represents one component, and there's a section in the book dedicated to each area. I wanted to point out that 2 components that align directly to Tier 1 of the pyramid model are supportive interactions and family engagement. When you're thinking about Tier 1 of the pyramid model, this isn't all new work. This can be about tweaking and improving the work you're already doing, as I mentioned. You might supplement how you engage families around your curriculum, building in more strategies to exchange information about social and emotional development. Your plans to build strong and nurturing relationships might also be reflected in your curriculum plans as you consider the strategies that you use to build and support learning across all areas of development, including those important social and emotional skills. One example of what's included in this book is a range of teaching strategies, from acknowledging and modeling to providing more specific direction. This document also discusses the importance of matching these strategies to an individual child's needs and temperament. I would also add that these range of strategies might vary across cultures and individual family styles. Knowing and understanding this can help you continue to partner with families and build those nurturing and responsive relationships.